1, 2, 3, 4. Palapalooza, Palapalooza. We're talking to you. I'm Palapalooza. How many times have you guys been to New Zealand and Australia?
That was our first time.
It was. Wow. That's a flight, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't that the longest flight from San Diego that you could possibly do on the planet?
Maybe
Am I mistaken?
Probably Australia's
I think
longer.
straight to Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
New Zealand wasn't bad. It was only 12 hours.
Okay.
And we slept through
That's
most
a lot
of it.
for me.
Yeah. It was like the way there was really fast. We slept through most of it, and the way back just seemed like
horrible.
forever.
Yeah.
Well, coming back, and one of our friends from Australia she knew exactly what I was talking about. Once you cross the date line, I don't know if you're just going against the natural currents that flow through there, but it was the worst turbulence for hours. Yeah. And
Where's the date line?
It's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, okay.
Like where
gotcha.
it turns from yesterday to tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like it's at the end of the 24 hours.
Time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
you time travel.
You guys are welcome, first off.
Oh yeah.
Thank
so
you.
is this on? Are we on?
Yeah, in post-production I may edit some things out, but yeah, hell, let's just go with it.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course, we're here with the Schizophonics for episode 50 of Palapalooza. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Hello.
Pat and Lety Beers.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I'm glad we get to be number 50.
I know.
Number 50, I know. I'm so glad that you guys are here to celebrate this milestone with me.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, congratulations.
On 50
Thank you.
shows.
We'll see how long it goes. No, but cool. Where do we start with you guys? You're married, okay? You're a married couple. You're rocking out in this rock band. For those of you who don't know the Schizophonics, where did it begin with you guys? How did it start out?
We moved out here in 2008. Pat was living in Tucson. I was living in Tucson.
Okay.
And he moved out here. He had started a band out there with some dude from San Diego, so he moved out here.
Okay.
And then I moved out here shortly after.
2008, so about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that band kind of disbanded, and they needed a drummer. And then I never played the drums ever.
Wow.
But I was always there. And they're like, you should just learn how to play the drums. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So it's been a long process from zero to where we are now. Just
Wow.
And this is my first band I've ever been in. First band I've ever
really?
played drums in. Mhm.
Wow, incredible. You guys kind of have the White Stripes thing going on a little bit.
Well, we
you probably do you get that a lot?
We have a bass player, but
Right.
we don't have a set bass player.
True.
And that's
True.
We're so busy. It's kind of like we prefer it that way because it's.
Yeah, we play live with the bass player and
Right.
just whoever's able to do the tour
Yeah,
at the time.
we've
That's
had-
what I saw somewhere on your site or your Facebook. It kind of recycles through
Yeah.
friends, I think you said.
Yeah, we have so many good friends that are down for traveling or just picking up cool local shows. So we're really
That's so
lucky in
cool.
that aspect where we have a really good supportive community of players.
Right. Very cool. And your first album as the Schizophonics was released, gosh, not even that long ago, huh? Like 2015?
17.
17.
We released some 45s earlier. I think our first 45 was in 2015.
We had been playing live for a long time
Right.
before we put out any records. So I think that was kind of, at least locally, we were so bad when we started too. But it's kind of funny now because we started kind of right at the beginning of YouTube. So you can kind of look at our whole history of when and watch our gradual progression.
Right.
But it took us a while just to figure out how to write songs and what we wanted to sound like, and
Right.
we've kind of gone through a bunch of different phases. But
You certainly have a unique sound. So how long were you guys jamming before you released your first recording? Like how many shows had you played? Maybe a few years?
probably maybe like a couple hundred shows before we put out a record.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we used to
We
play
played a
like twice a
lot.
week.
Right.
We just, and I think I always recommend that to new bands.
Right.
I always just say, just play as much as you can when you first start, and then just you got to build up a following and all that. And then once you're able to, you can spread it out a bit.
Right. Yeah, very cool. Scott Russo was on here. He said the same thing. They played a bunch of house parties in Poway when they were first going, and then by the time they finally got out to play Soma, it was like sold out. Everyone was there, so
Exactly.
that's so cool. Pat, I have to credit you on your stage presence. Okay?
Oh, thank you.
We've got to go there. Who's your influence to be that madman up on stage?
My first biggest influence is Jimi Hendrix, just being crazy with the guitar and all that, and the feedback, and Pete Townsend, doing all the jumping around and all that. And then Iggy Pop was a big performer influence as far as just his freak out and energy, and James Brown as well. Wow, I feel good. And just people like that who are just there's like a lot of feeling and energy into it, Like James Brown has just put every ounce into his show, and I took a lot from him as far as like putting more dancing into the show. That kind of came in later in the band, where it went from being a freak out into being more like actual dancing.
Got it.
And then Little Richard, just because he's crazy as well.
Yeah, all good performers. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
We have a type.
And the MC5 is musically probably our biggest influence, sound-wise.
MC5s?
The MC5,
Yeah, the Motor City 5 from Detroit.
Take out the jams, motherfucker!
So at first it was just you up there acting like a nut, and then you eventually kind of got some moves down. Did you take any like dance kind of thing, or is it just all kind of improv?
No, it's funny. We just played a show. I've been teaching at the School of Rock, and one of the other teachers asked me, "Did you take any dance classes?" And,
Really?
I'm not patting myself on the but I just thought it was funny because we've come up through the dive bar circuit, and I was just like, no, it's just just freaking out to rock and roll music over the years.
You know what though? I did get him a box set of Soul Train DVDs
right.
for Christmas.
Oh, there it is.
That changed our life. Yeah,
for like a few months. I think an entire year, all we would do is when friends would come over, we'd put it on and we'd just dance while watching them go on TV.
Yeah. No, that blew our minds. Like
introduced to the Soul Train.
Exactly, and it still had all the commercials and everything.
Right.
So I recommend that to everybody. The Soul Train box set.
That is so cool, man.
But so just doing it. I mean, we probably played. I tried to tally it once, and we've probably done over 1,000 shows as this band, and just doing that every week, it just gradually morphed into this thing. But it did start out as complete ramshackle chaos,
just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
The first thing I noticed about your live shows, you don't use a guitar strap often. I think I do see you with one now, but that was kind of a cool, gimmicky kind of thing. You're throwing your guitar all over the place as a guitarist. Do you still do that? And where did that kind of come from?
Yeah, that came from the early days where we had one show where the strap came off, and I started just to like throw the guitar around while bending the string, and every time something weird would happen like that, it would be like, all right, it's in the show.
It's in the show
That's stage gimmick number 5.
I'll just go with it.
Yeah,
Let's just include it in there.
It's funny. It's like every night you do something different, and sometimes it's like, oh wait, and you'll remember it the next night, and it'll be in the show.
A new move.
A new move.
Do you remember when that like clicked? Because I imagine you didn't always perform like that. When you first got up on stage,
I always did that.
Or was it just the natural?
Well,
okay.
The biggest changes were when we started playing with Elvis.
I'm caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
Yeah, he picked us up as his backing band, and so we would open as Schizophonics, and then we'd play for him as his band. And playing with somebody who's such a showman.
Right.
Like, if you've ever seen him, he's like a combination of Las Vegas show with Elvis, with punk rock roots. It's with like activism and comedy. And so I think playing with him really helped shape our show in more of a presentation,
Yeah.
like entertainer
A
kind of way.
performance
Yeah.
kind of thing. You're you're a showman. You put on a good show. I do have to shout out that you did just win a couple of San Diego Music Awards. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, best rock and best live. Go figure. So congrats. That's amazing. Was that your first, or have you?
No, we've got
You've
a
got a
couple.
few.
Yeah, we've got a few at home.
Where do you put those?
There's one in the garage where we play, and then there's some
Right on.
on like the piano. Just somewhere in the living room.
Right on. Very cool. How is that night at this year? I think it was at House of Blues, right? Did you go? Or
That's
were you-
funny. We had just flown in from, I think, where were we in Europe?
Yeah.
We were on tour in Europe, so we flew in that night. And as we're driving home from LA, we get a call and messages that, oh, you guys just won. Because, all our music friends are there hanging
Right.
out.
Totally.
But we've been to those before, and it's such a great party.
Yeah.
And people usually complain, oh, everyone's talking so much. It's rowdy. They should be listening.
But that's why it's good. It's just like
Yeah.
a meeting of everybody and
And that's-
every scene together.
Well, everyone's there, and we're not working. We don't have to perform, so everyone's just there, like, no responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
excellent. Yeah, of course. And you have some local shows coming up. You're doing the Wonderfront Festival, correct? In November. That's
Yes.
a few months down the line.
Yeah.
You did just play the Copley at Balboa Park, correct?
Yeah, we played on.
was that?
It was
That's
great.
amazing.
It was super fun. Yeah, that was that
School of Rock thing,
School of
right?
Rock thing. Yeah. So the kids, the house band, which is the more like the advanced students have a band where they gig around town all the time, and they opened the show, and then all the teachers' bands played. So Los
Wow.
Pinchy Pinchies, the Have Nots, and Night
Yeah.
Lapse played as well.
I saw that. How old are the kids?
In
Varies?
the house band,
Yeah.
it ranges. They're more teenage.
Okay.
They're like the older students
Nice.
usually, but
Very cool.
yeah, there's some really great musicians there. Like it's crazy. Some of them, I'm like, they're like way better than me at guitar. I'm like I don't know.
Where is the School of Rock?
It's in Point Loma.
Is that the
at
one by
Liberty
Soma?
Station.
No, okay, I'm thinking of something else by
No,
Liberty Station.
That one's Rock and Roll High School.
Yeah, and
That's
okay,
it,
thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, and that's like rehearsal studios too, I think, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've rented that before to practice.
Okay, and School of Rock, just to shout them out, what is that exactly? A music school, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then you go out and you perform and
Exactly.
actually do live gigs.
Yeah, every
That
few
is-
months there's a few different themed shows they have. Like right now
Yeah.
we're doing a metal show
Nice.
and a best of the 2010s
Nice.
but every few months it's like a different theme and it's really cool. They learn how to play in a band setting and they learn how to like
Yeah.
be good bandmates and work together
Yeah.
rather than just taking lessons.
They see you up there and they get inspired by you. They start doing the splits. And
I was so nervous. This was the first time playing a show for the students, so
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man!"
yeah?
He was
little
so
nervous?
nervous.
I know.
You can't
for
curse,
this
obviously,
show.
or anything, right, I guess. But yeah, no, I
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I never get nervous for shows, and that was the first time in years I.
Was it like parents and
Yeah,
kids and stuff?
exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. We'll do a couple segments. What's unique about this podcast is we have you guys go unplugged, which, Pat, you're really excited about, right, buddy? Rocking out an acoustic guitar in a swivel chair.
Oh yeah, I can move
To
around
some-
with this chair.
You better do some splits on that
I
thing.
will.
Yeah. We'll do a couple of quick segments, and then we'll hear a couple tunes. Do you know what you guys are going to play today?
I will
know.
figure it out. I gotta.
Maybe a little rat trap would be cool,
I gotta
or-
figure out how to make these songs work on an acoustic
Make it
guitar.
work out. Yeah, you can jam back here for a little bit. The first segment's rapid fire. Just going to shoot some random questions at you guys, all right? Beatles or Stones?
Stones.
I
say
guess
Stones,
you know
right?
what? You would have asked me like 10 years ago, I would say Beatles, but I
Right.
think if I were to have to, I think the Stones more of a dance party band.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've got that Mick Jagger kind of vibe, right? Mick Jagger on steroids? Or Mick Jagger on something else? I don't know.
Oh, he's already been on everything.
He has been on everything. I saw them at Petco a couple years ago when they came, and he was just amazing, like a hummingbird up there. Truly.
it.
He's like 70. It's
70s,
crazy.
Yeah. Bowie or Mick Jagger?
Bowie.
Bowie.
Wow, okay. Nirvana or Pearl Jam?
Nirvana.
Nirvana,
All
yeah.
right, you guys are on the same page. Favorite decade for music for you
60s.
guys?
Yeah, 60s
Yeah,
as well.
I see you guys in the 60s for sure. What's your favorite 60s band, would you say? I'd say the Doors.
Yeah, the Doors a lot. For me, probably the Stooges or the MC5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
probably say MC5.
Cool. Yeah, very cool. What's a favorite guitar riff that comes to mind? You know, we get like Angus Young stuff, you know, the Shredders, the Eddie Van Halens on here.
Rebel Rebel, one of my favorite riffs.
There you go.
Lately, we've been real into the Thin Lizzies, like the dual, like the harmony solos.
Best frontman or woman in history.
Little Richard.
Okay.
Or James Brown.
It's kind of an OG.
You know
Like
what?
you can't pick one.
Yeah,
Like
that might be
David
tied.
Bowie.
Yeah, it's hard to
You
pick.
can't
Bowie.
pick one.
Maybe James Brown if you had to pick.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
my top three: James Brown, David Bowie, Little Richard.
Iggy.
Yeah.
Right, Iggy Pop's crazy.
I'm curious, you like James Brown a lot. Every time I see Bruno Mars, I kind of think of like a modern day James Brown. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on Bruno?
You know what? I didn't know much of his music, and then we
Right.
saw when he did the Super Bowl halftime
Right.
show, and it had that like old
Temptations,
kinda-
Motown.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. It was
I like-
actually he
I
did a
like
good
what he's
job.
doing.
That
Yeah.
Totally. Most influential band in history.
Oh man, influential.
It's tough, huh?
Probably the
I'd probably say the
Beatles.
Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Nirvana.
I think the Beatles basically, I think the thing they did was made it okay for people to write, or made it a thing where people had to write their own songs.
Totally.
And not like, you know, songwriter or basically
Right.
kids in high school could write their own songs.
Yeah.
And like just anybody, you know.
Kind of simple songs.
Yeah,
somewhat.
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, the artists are, and I think Dylan too.
Yeah.
Maybe at the same time as the Beatles, around the same time.
But
Yeah.
I
Did the
just
same
think
thing.
the Beatles just fueled so many bands.
Right.
Because if you look back at that decade, at that time when the Beatles came up, everybody had a rock and roll band when they were in high school.
Totally.
And it's crazy. One of our friends has a magazine, and he'll just dig up so much music
Yeah.
from such a small period of time. And it's just everyone had their rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Or you could go back further. You could say Little Richard, because he.
Yeah.
Or Elvis.
Or El-
Or Elvis opened
I
that
was a
door,
big Jerry
too.
Lee Lewis fan. I
Jerry Lee
started
Lewis.
playing piano when I was young,
Yeah,
until I found out he married his cousin, and I was kind of a little turned off by that. But no,
There's this great concert movie
Yeah.
where they're both performing, and they're interviewing Richard backstage, and they're interviewing Jerry Lee Lewis backstage, and they ask Jerry Lee, they're like, "Oh, so why do you think Little Richard has such a problem with you?" And he's like, "I don't know. I've always respected Richard. I think he's a great entertainer." Then they cut over to Little Richard. They're like, "Richard, what do you think about Jerry Lee Lewis?" And Little Richard says, "Jerry Lee Lewis is the king of stupidity."
oh my god,
It's so good.
oh
It's
man,
so good.
man, I love that movie. Even as a kid, I don't know if you've seen that with Winona Ryder, Great Balls of Fire.
Oh, you know what?
I've never seen
Winona
it.
Ryder and Dennis Quaid.
We gotta
plays
watch
Jerry
We
Lee.
gotta watch it.
Oh man, you
we
totally
love
do.
We love those movies.
Yeah, he plays with Elvis, and yeah. What's your favorite concert movie to kind of stray off here?
Like movie about a band or a concert?
I'm
like
sorry, yeah, a movie
documentary
about
film?
like a musician, you know, Walk the Line comes to mind, or even that new one with
I like Walk Hard. I think that's the
Oh,
perfect.
Walk Hard is
Oh my
epic.
God.
I think
I'm
that's
so
the
glad you
most
said
well
that.
done because it has every trope
Yeah.
of every one of those
Right.
movies.
Walk hard, hard down life's rocky road.
right, and it's so funny, the Dewey Cox story.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Like
In my dreams, you're blowing me some kisses.
like I really like the new Queen movie, but at the same
Yeah.
time, the whole time I just like it kept like there was so many Walk Hard moments. I was like, like after Walk Hard was made, like how can they
A
ever
little
make
bit.
a music biopic ever again?
And
'Cause-
make it serious.
Yeah, because it's like every moment where they like come up with the song idea, it's like
Right. Yeah.
I always think that Walk Hard moments.
Yeah,
where he
yeah,
says
yeah.
something and then he looks off.
Right,
Like, he's
exactly.
come up with the perfect song.
Or they're in the studio. You have 60 seconds left to make the best song in the world.
Exactly.
yeah, that was totally in the Queen movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally. What about Rocket Man? Have you guys seen that?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Did you
I
watch it?
No, I really want to see that because I'm a
Yeah.
huge Elton fan.
Yeah.
I get the feeling I might be disappointed just because I was so into him, but Who knows?
Yeah, I will watch any movie about a band or
Yeah.
that has dinosaurs in it, even if it's
Dinosaurs?
terrible. And
Really?
like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and like, yeah. So I'll watch it, like Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
It's cheesy, but I love
haven't
it.
seen that.
You never?
Okay.
Oh,
You
No.
have to watch Eddie and the
Okay.
Cruisers.
it's a fictional band. Yeah, it's an '80s movie.
It is, okay.
It's like
And
Okay.
what about the Commitments? That one too.
Commitments. Yeah,
These are all good.
yeah. Did you ever see La Bamba?
Of course.
It's all
Of
about
course.
Bob. Bob makes that movie.
Oh, really? Okay, the
brother.
brother. The brother.
Yeah, the
the
brother was
alcoholic
great.
brother or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing you do comes to mind.
I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Dude, I mean, I get chills still when they hear their
radio
song on the radio and they're
moment, yup.
running and she's like, oh, dude. It's such a feel-good movie, absolutely.
The Oneaters.
Biggest pet peeve when playing a show?
Usually I mean, our shows are really good. All the other bands, we usually are friends. But
Right.
it's a big pet peeve when the other band's taking too long,
Right.
taking off stage.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of newer people don't really get the band etiquette thing.
Right.
So
Respect the set times and
Yeah.
maybe they're up there talking to friends and stuff before they're loading off kind
well,
of thing.
after you're done,
Right.
to take your gear off
Right.
instead of leaving it and going to get a drink or
Totally.
leaving it and dilly-dallying while your stuff's just sitting there.
You heard it here, local bands from Lety Beers.
She says
Well,
no
it's
dilly.
just, well, it's just
No
band, it's
dilly-dally.
band etiquette, or
Yeah,
else
yeah.
or
It
else
truly
the sets
is.
run late, and then
Right.
whoever's on last gets screwed over with their show
and
time.
they get put on like exponentially later.
Right.
You know, if everyone's taking 10 minutes longer. Yeah, I agree. Pat, anything? We get monitor levels a lot, you know, if the mix isn't there.
I just with me it's just whenever anything derails the flow of the show, like just like going out of tune in the middle of a song, just
Right.
like stuff like technical stuff, like
Right.
you know. But one thing I've learned over the years is no matter how bad things get on stage for problems like that, like technical problems, mistakes, breaking strings, breaking gear, breaking pedals, whatever.
Right.
Just like, or if you feel like you're just playing a bad show, just like laugh it off because
Don't let it get to you.
audience. Yeah. One time I used to get really mad,
Right.
on like visibly mad if I was doing a bad show. And,
It just makes it that much worse.
yeah, and
huh?
I was just
Yeah.
like, fuck. And
Yeah.
I saw a band get really mad and kind of argue with each other on stage once. I was like,
Right.
man, people don't care if you mess
Right,
up. And like
right.
and then I saw another band and they messed up and they all just started laughing. And I was like, that's
kind of cool.
That's
huh?
way more entertaining.
Right.
And I laughed too. And I was like, that's how it should be done.
Yeah.
So I try to laugh it off.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like, you just
It's hard.
counting the seconds.
No, I totally get that. I heard James Hetfield was on Joe Rogan, and he was basically saying that that's the reason people go to live shows is to see those little
Right.
flaws. You know, I think they were
Exactly.
talking against lip syncing, and it's like, God, man, you know, the reason you go to a show is to see like a mess up. So
Yeah. I feel like some people probably watch our show just like it's like
To see you
an
hurt
air
yourself.
show. It's like, I wonder when he's gonna crash.
Right. Well, that leads us to our next question. What is the worst mishap for the
Oh.
Schizophonics that you recall?
Oh,
I would assume have you broken guitars? I mean, with everything you're doing up there?
Never
Or?
broken a guitar. Well,
Really?
We
Okay.
did some weird things to guitars on. We played a show. I just forgot about it till recently. But remembered because we just started playing with this bass player from a couple years ago, and we did one show where my guitar neck it was the very last chord of the last song, and somehow my guitar neck got stuck in between his tuning. He had a P bass,
Uh-huh.
and you know they have the big tuning pegs.
Right.
Somehow my guitar neck got stuck in between two of his tuning pegs.
The neck or the head?
The neck, the whole
Oh, wow.
neck, and then the tune
Oh, I
peg
see what you
turned.
mean.
So it was like
got
locked
locked in.
inside, and it was like two dogs
kind of a
humping
cool
where they get stuck together.
Hey, bring out the fire hose.
But it was just more bizarre. It was like, how did this happen?
Did you have to pause and kind of unclick yourself?
Yeah, it was just
go with
I
it?
remember finally
you guys
he
kept
just
going.
he
I
just
remember
turned the
that.
peg and like
Oh, okay, it was
we
real
figured
quick,
it out, but it
for
was
a
just
second,
like
you're like, whoa.
and then
Oh,
he
I
had,
saw him stuck.
it was just like, how did this happen?
How
so
funny,
funny.
dude.
But there's I've been
only you, Pat.
Yeah.
Only you. No.
I haven't really had a lot of injuries. I keep chipping my teeth, which is
Do you?
on microphones, which
Your front teeth?
yeah,
They don't look chipped?
There's a little one. You can see
a
it.
little one. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
so I've gotten some bloody injuries, but nothing really bad.
Some battle wounds. Yeah. Part of being a rock star.
Yeah.
Here's Lyric again. What's up, sweetie? Little Lyric. Do you guys have any kids? I don't think so, right?
Nah.
How long have you been married?
What year is it?
Going on 8?
It's going to be 8
8.
years in September.
8 in September. Very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
Pat and I, we were saying off mic, well, both of you, we originally met at a wedding. Your friends Richard and Natalie. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Moving on here. What's a local band shout out for you guys from San Diego?
I love the Loons and the Creepy Creeps. They're two of my favorites.
Take a ride on an ether plane. Are you here? Are you nearly sane? I can take you
I want to give a shout out to Earthless. Mario is one of my favorite drummers. So watching him go is always inspirational.
Favorite local venue?
Casbah.
Yeah, Cat.
Yeah, you guys just played there too, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, very cool. What's a favorite hobby outside of music? What are you guys into?
I sew.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes I'll make him. I made him a shirt once, similar to the one he's wearing.
Really? All right.
I made a little romper, like a jumpsuit, for the
Nice.
last show.
Very cool.
So one of my friend in the Loons, she has her own clothing line, so she kind of inspired me to just go for it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you know that clothing line? that
Yeah,
she
it's
has?
Stacks of California.
Okay.
They're on
Yeah.
Etsy. She
Etsy.
makes for super cute, like 60s go-go dresses and stuff.
You do that on tour?
No.
So, okay. No.
Just put the buttons back on that he pops off.
Yeah. Really, do you?
Yeah. So I'll make him do them too. I'm like, here, you do it.
Nice. How about you, Pat?
I'd like to do like visual art, graphic design, and stuff
you
like
do?
that
Okay.
as well.
Do you do your flyers?
Yeah.
You design those? Okay. Very 60s vibes.
Yeah,
Kinda, you know.
I love like 60s psychedelic poster art.
Yeah. I love them. They look great, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. What's a favorite song to play live? Likely one you'll play here shortly. maybe.
I like playing the Little Richard songs.
Oh, you do? You cover him.
We do it's funny you mentioned Jerry Lee. We do a Jerry Lee Lewis Little Richard medley.
Do you?
Yeah.
What songs are those?
Whole lot of shaking and Jenny.
No way. That is awesome.
Yeah, we've been ending our shows with that little combo.
That's
yeah,
cool.
It gets a little crazy.
Very cool. Whole lot of shaking. That makes sense. Got Pat up there shaking like a madman.
I said now, come on over, baby. Whole lot of shaking going on. Come on over, baby. Whole lot of shaking going on.
I like the dance contest.
She
We
likes-
usually do a
she
dance
likes, like, the
contest.
dance songs.
Yeah.
The dance contest. Tell us about that.
It started for every show. We get a lot of drink tickets, and before shows, we really don't drink that much
Yeah.
because we don't want to get stupid on
Right.
stage.
Totally.
So we started raffling off our tickets to get the people motivated to move and kind of let loose a little bit more.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is a great idea. I love it.
We were playing one venue where we had played there a year before, and we were like, man, this town, it's the toughest audience to get to like out of their shell.
Kind of get into it. Yeah.
And so we're like, we got to get them moving tonight because, let's try to get them at least to move around early in the show, so maybe it'll break the ice a bit. So we decided to do the dance competition that night, and then like it worked. So we just now it's like every single show ever since then.
That's awesome.
We do it.
I love it. Mix and DJ with rock.
Exactly.
So you have noticed that about San Diego, huh? The crowd tends to be a little less involved?
No,
I mean, it
here-
depends on the night.
Yeah, it depends. 'cause
Totally,
I think here is San Diego actually has a pretty lively audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like our show Friday was pretty crazy. I think it's summer break.
Casbah?
Yeah, everyone was partying. Oh my God, there was so much beer spilled on the floor afterwards.
Nice.
I'm like, the crowd was pretty. They were fun.
Casbah loves that.
You know, that's like the most lively crowds for some reason is North County. Like, have you been to the Poorhouse?
Yeah, I have.
That
yeah.
for some reason every
Right.
show at the Poorhouse is like complete chaos in a good way. It's like
Yeah, totally.
party, yeah.
All the breweries up there are awesome. Legacy, I was just up there at Legacy Brewing. That was a very cool spot.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, North County's got a good scene for sure. One album on an island. One album on a deserted island. I don't know how you get electricity there,
Nope.
but
Mine is obscure.
I could never pick one.
I have my favorite record is this band called Chance R&B, band from the '60s. But
Chance R&B?
that album is just my go-to because it's all my favorite tunes.
Nice.
A lot of covers on it, but best versions of all my favorite songs. And
nice.
I just for some reason listen to that record more than any record I have. So I'm just like I always thought about that. That's my desert island record.
It's the desert island.
It just has everything I want in a record.
Yeah. How about a movie?
I do love Purple Rain. That's
Yeah.
that's one of our
Little
favorite movies on
Prince.
the planet.
Absolutely.
I think we've seen that like probably 50 times.
Yeah, that's one of those movies we watch a lot.
Love it.
Still.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Prince, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, we saw Prince.
Did you?
Yeah, it was amazing.
That was a great show.
He was doing a 21-night stand up in Inglewood in LA, and I heard about it, and I think I just found tickets on Craigslist.
Yeah.
So we got super cheap tickets online, drove up, and he played for about 3 hours straight. And how many encores did he do, Pat? Like 5 encores?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was
magical.
just a machine.
Wow. How big was that venue?
It was the Forum is the big basketball auditorium.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. I saw Green Day up there.
Oh, okay.
Not too long ago with my wife. Yeah, we're big Green Day fans. Well, cool. Moving on. We'll do one more segment with you guys, and then we'll have you rock out, all right?
Cool.
It's a dream segment.
All right.
Pleasant thoughts here, all right?
Yeah.
Dreaming under the Palapa. 3 bands to headline your ultimate dream festival. Who would you pick, living or dead?
Oh, we can't pick the same bands, all right? So
You could do
you
your
wanna
day.
go
Why
first?
don't you do
Wait.
Friday night, Pat?
Are we
And
doing
you-
living or dead?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Easy.
Okay.
I think. What do you want?
All right, so the headliner, I think would be. I keep saying James Brown, maybe like '60s, early '60s. James Brown is the headliner,
There you go.
and then direct support would be. Gotta do something different. I'd do like late '60s Stooges,
There you go.
and then the opening band. Who would you? Maybe
The Schizophonics.
Oh yeah, that'd be. Yeah, how do we get on that?
How do we get on that? I don't know.
All right, I'm
Let's-
going to say something that you won't like, but go on.
It's tough. I mean, all
That
the
is
bands
tough.
in history.
That is tough.
I don't even know what I'd choose.
Yeah, maybe put MC5 before the Stooges, and
There you go.
then that'll give them something to. Or no, Jimi Hendrix. No, Jimi Hendrix is the headliner.
Jimi Hendrix is headliner.
Okay, no, it's the
Come on.
Stooges.
Take it all
Wait,
back.
if we have a time machine,
Right,
yeah.
Stooges open. James Brown is. You put him in the middle, so he's pissed off that he's not headlining.
He's going to be mad.
So he-
Talking shit.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little
So
bit.
so he's like, oh man, I'm gonna upstage Jimi Hendrix, and then Jimi Hendrix has to go on over James Brown at his best, and then so Jimi Hendrix does like 5 tabs, and he just
5 tabs.
and he just goes
That
off.
took me a second. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Totally.
He got him from Iggy.
God, who puts on a better live performance? James Brown at his prime or Jimmy at his prime?
You know, I've actually thought about putting
Yeah.
on a mini, like we've talked about doing like a mini festival thing, and I had
Yeah.
that idea of putting bands that. So I know a lot of bands that are very competitive live,
Right.
And all the best performers I know are like that, where
Right.
you know they want to put on a good show for the audience, but they also don't want to be upstage,
Right.
So they get a little like, if someone's playing a good show, they
Right.
they enjoy it, but at the same time they're like
Kinda
they don't want
nervous
to
about
they
it.
don't want to like
Yeah.
So you gotta stack them in a certain way, or they compete with each other.
Right.
What would you do?
Well, how many acts do I have?
You get three.
Three? Okay.
Three. We'll limit it to three.
It's night 2.
All right. Headliner on mine is Little Richard.
There you go.
Direct support is David Bowie. And then the opening act,
What era Bowie? Like Ziggy Stardust era?
yeah, Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy Stardust is opening for Little Richard.
That would be good.
Like crazy sweaty Little Richard when he was wearing that vest with the mirrors. And the opening act, just because I would love to see this, early Van Halen.
There you go.
That's a
you
wild
go.
card right there.
That's, yeah.
Van Halen just.
I should have expected
David Lee
that.
Roth just.
I
going
love
to
David
town.
Lee Roth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like him better than Van Hagar?
Oh, we don't talk about him.
Yeah. See, I don't get that comparison either. I think David Lee Roth blows him away personally.
Oh,
but
totally.
To each their own, I guess. There are people out there that prefer Hagar. I'm not one.
Nope, me neither.
He was just a madman. I saw them down at the Sleep Train a couple years ago.
How was it?
It was rad. Eddie Van Halen was very professional and just shredding. And then you got David Lee Roth just drinking from a whiskey bottle and sloppy. And
Oh, no.
they still sounded great. But yeah, I'm on. That would be a great festival. Oh my gosh, guys. Incredible.
All right, we gotta book it.
Let's book it. Let's get on it.
All right.
Oh man. If you could tour with any current band, who would you choose? Moving on with the dream segment here. We got a couple more for you.
The Jackets, or maybe the Jackets are a band from Switzerland right now. They're like our favorite band in the world.
The skies don't gray. It's not too late. I lost my way. Now I have to say.
I think we're actually going to be touring with them next summer.
Yeah, that actually
Oh,
might
wow.
happen.
Very cool. And you guys have played out there, right? Switzerland?
We've driven through it. Haven't played it yet.
Okay. All right.
Who would your pick?
Yeah.
Like anybody?
Your current band.
Any current band. Let's
Kid Con.
limit it to current.
Right. I'd love to tour with Kid Congo. He's one of my
There you go.
favorites.
If you could bring one musician back from the dead, who would you pick? This is going to be tough for you guys.
Keith
I think.
Richards.
Okay. That took me a second. Yeah.
Like, who would you pick? I mean,
man.
we always talk about this. Like, what would have happened if Jimmy lived? Like,
Right. This is
what
a
would he have
great-
turned into? Because if you look at Bob Dylan, he changed a lot in the 80s. Like,
Jimmy would have had like a hot pink neon guitar in the 80s and been all like tapping.
You think so?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But he would have had like a good comeback in the 90s, I think. With
think
Rick
so?
Rubin or something.
How about you, Letty? Who would you bring back?
I always think about Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah,
No,
if he would
yeah.
have
Sure.
stayed.
Yeah. A legend. A true legend.
I think he would have gotten real proggy in the 70s for sure. I don't know. I like to do my imaginary fan fiction about Jimi Hendrix, where like he gets really kind of like proggy and like kind of like more out there in the 70s, and then when punk happens, he's like, oh yeah, this is cool, and then like he gets like way back into like the feedback, and just like
Right.
he just starts playing all this gnarly and playing like with punk bands and stuff in England, and like it just like.
Could you imagine?
And then like yeah, and then
And he goes techno. He goes through his techno phase.
exactly.
Collaborations with Justin Bieber and oh my goodness, this dream is turning into a nightmare. folks.
Right, exactly.
Have you seen David Lee Roth's on tour with this EDM guy? Because he
Is he?
remixed Jump. So
No
every time
way.
this super crazy famous DJ plays his Jump remix, David Lee
comes
Roth
out.
is on stage, kind of just singing along a little bit.
Have you seen it?
I follow him on Instagram.
Is it bad or is it?
It's funny. He's
Yeah.
happy. He's happy. He's in good shape.
Yeah.
Let him have fun.
Did he have the whiskey bottle or no? Okay, good. That's good. All right, one more question for you guys. I always ask this of local bands, but 5 years, where would you guys like to be with Schizophonics? You guys have done a lot. I mean, I was going to ask you, how many countries have you toured?
A handful. I don't know.
Oh, okay. But 5 years, where would you like to be?
Touring full time.
Sure.
Yeah, we just want to be able to. I think it'd be nice just to be able to tour, bring our dog with us. You know,
Yeah. Just maintain our lives based on the band. Like that's kind of the goal. That's why we're so busy, and that's why we're working so hard.
Very cool. Are you currently with a label, or are you independent release?
Our record label's Pig Baby Records.
I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
the
released
fir-
your last one, right?
The first album was on Sympathy for the Record Industry, who friend of Elvez, and we're friends with Long Gone John's daughter.
Okay.
So he did that record, and really, he's super nice. And there's always legends about this guy, but he's always been just very sweet, really kind to us. And the next record we're doing on Pig Baby, our second album, second full length, is out October 10th.
Awesome.
And
10/10, good date.
David Lee Roth's birthday.
Is it?
It is.
And this has been David Lee Roth Hour on Palapalooza, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
By the way, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, Pat's not a fan.
Oh, no, I like Van Halen before you.
He's just
you
so
even
funny.
knew who
Went out
they
there,
were.
Pat. I don't know if that's no.
No, but
were you
Lety
gonna
has an unhealthy obsession currently with Mr. David Lee Roth.
You know, I tried for years to get into them, and then my best friend just started playing them all the time, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I can't get it out of my head now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right on. A full length coming 10/10, 2019. Stoked for you guys. You're heading to Europe next week. That'll be very cool. Eight days, something like that. A week or so.
I think we're out there for about 2.5 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're just doing big festivals, not really doing the tour circuit.
Do you get to see some sights while you're out there and enjoy
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, we have
Cool.
some days off in Paris, so we're actually going to go to Jim Morrison's grave.
Oh, wow. Okay. What country is that in?
He's in Paris.
He's in Paris.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then we're going to go to the catacombs, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, we actually have time off in Paris now to do all the stuff we haven't been able to do.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk around like a tourist and just ask people for directions.
And your
Hey,
American flag T-shirt.
I don't speak French.
I love it. Do you
I'm
guys?
sure they will
You
love
guys
that.
don't speak French.
I hate it. I tried and I tried, and
Lety,
it's like
I hate
I
the
can't
French.
do it.
No,
I love
You
the
hate the
people,
language.
and I
Yeah.
love going there.
No, I'm
and
kidding.
everyone's so nice about it. Like I was trying. I downloaded an app
Right.
where I was trying to learn it, and it's like it's so difficult for me.
Tough.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
a really hard time trying to speak it, but the people there are so like the whole stereotype of the rude French. You know, when you go to France and
Right.
like that's the most opposite. From what I experienced is like
Yeah.
I've had so many people just like on the street that were just so friendly and helpful.
Awesome.
And yeah, there's just like I don't know why we tend to do really well there, and
Awesome.
and people are very passionate about rock and roll still there, and
Very cool.
yeah, it's one of our favorite places anywhere to play.
Very
Definitely.
cool. Have you guys been out to Asia at all?
No, we want
Okay.
to.
Because I know like Japan, I think, is really into rock and
Mm-hmm.
punk and stuff like that, right?
We're planning hopefully to go there next June or January.
Yeah,
Right
we're
on.
trying next January, February. So
Very cool.
we'll do this tour, and then after the record comes out in October, we're going to do a big U.S. tour,
Cool.
and then after that, we'll be home for the holidays and hit the rest.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And do you guys have a van and a trailer that you tour with, or do you hit up hotels?
Oh, yeah,
What's the sleeping arrangement there?
we usually get a hotel room.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there's usually only 3 or 4 of us on tour.
Right.
So we get
Right.
a double room, 2 in one bed, 2 in the other bed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Some overhead there a little bit, huh? For touring
Yeah.
with the costs and everything.
Yeah, we're a tight unit.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That's the only way to do it. Like honestly, like I don't know how bands do it because I mean we're a 3-piece, and
Yeah.
you know, and 2 of us share a bed, and
Yeah.
you know, and it's like somehow I think that's how we made this band work for so long.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully we can make it into a full-time job one day. It's hard though, you know.
Yeah.
You're a musician, and
Yeah.
you know, everyone I talk to is just like, how do you do it these days? And it's like it's crazy because the bands have to do every aspect of it now. You know, you have to be sort of like your own record label. You have to, you know, now bands, you know, they make their own music videos and posters and album covers and just every little thing. It's like that. And it's kind of good too, because it's all stuff that now people have the technology to do themselves, and they used to go into debt having a record label do it for
Totally.
them. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
kind of cool now too that everyone's kind of on their own in a way because yeah.
Well, then it gives you the freedom as an artist to do what you want to do instead of what
Right.
like some other label, and you're contracted. You're contracted to do what they want you to do or to
Right.
present yourself the way they want you.
Right.
So there's a lot more creative freedom nowadays.
Yeah, totally. That's great input. I think the digital day and age kind of hurt musicians a bit, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to say Lars was right.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of protested Napster. It kind of turned into, if you look at Spotify, I think you get paid like what point
Yeah, yeah.
0.05 cents per stream. And
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? You've been around for a while.
I think
the
it was
MP3 day and age.
It was inevitable, definely,
Right.
that the music industry would change. We were talking about this the other day because we started talking about '90s movies, and it was a funny thing because every movie in the '90s had like a song connected with it.
Yeah,
You
like
think
the
about
Men
it.
in Black song.
Yeah, or like the Titanic song, or like.
Right,
I
Celine
see.
Dion.
And we started
Right.
going through it. We're thinking about every blockbuster from the '90s, and there was always like it was always like connected with a pop song,
Right.
And a lot, and then
Even
they
the 80s a lot too, like Back to the Future,
Exactly.
Right.
Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Yeah.
it's like now I guess they still do it, but it's not to the extent because there's no real music industry. It's like there's still is somewhat of a thriving film and TV industry, but the music industry is kind of like it's like wait up, and I'm drowning. But
no, I get that.
but it's a completely different place, and it's just changed so much that I think it just takes bands a lot longer, and they have to really just keep with it and
Grind, huh?
Yeah, it's like what was a band like, for instance, like a band like Dr. Dog.
Yeah.
Probably in the '90s they probably would have been like been a huge band, and they do well enough to make a living off of it, and they sell out 1,000-seaters and stuff.
Right.
But they're a band that's succeeded just because they've just been at it for like how long? Like 15, 20 years now. It's just like they just keep doing it, keep touring, keep putting out records, and it's like
Chipping away at it kind of thing.
not waiting for someone else to give you permission or.
Right.
What do you feel like the big break is? Like, what is the big payoff?
I don't
these
think
I don't
days?
think there
Is
is
there one?
one.
And that's-
I
yeah.
don't
Or
think
is it
so.
just kind of
Yeah.
generating income from shows and merch and
Yeah.
paying your bills?
that's
and
it.
And if you look at the Spotify's, like if you look at popular bands, like I just looked at the Rockin' Tours because that new record just came out. They have
That's
like
Jack White, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
millions of followers on Spotify.
Totally.
And like you times those streams,
Right.
times whatever that payout is. I mean, that's a healthy little paycheck, though.
Yeah.
If you have that many followers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I heard Beyonce say that one song got like 4 million streams and she got like a couple $1,000s or something. I don't know. I could be misquoting her.
Well,
but
and who knows what her contract with her manager and her
Right.
label and
yeah.
who
Yeah.
owns what percentage of the songwriter.
Yeah.
It's different because let's say we had someone writing our songs plus our manager plus our
Right.
record label. That's
Getting a
another piece of the
percentage.
pie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I mean, in that regard, I truly think you guys are on the right path. I mean, from an outsider's perspective, you guys seem to be doing it. You really do, and you're staying active. I have a lot of respect for bands like you. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank
really,
you.
truly, you have a lot of fans, and let's hear you rock out some acoustic.
This is a
Schizophonics.
rare acoustic.
A rare-
Maybe our first acoustic performance.
Is that
No,
right?
we've never done a public one.
Really?
I don't think
I think
so.
we played like
Oh, wow.
when Tom Petty died. We did that Tom Petty song at the cat.
Well, cool. We'll switch the mics around and we'll jam out.
All right, let's do this.
Right on. All right, we have come to the live portion of Palapalooza with Pat and Lety Beers of the Schizophonics. They are doing their first public acoustic performance, right? Your first?
Yeah.
One of them? Yeah.
Of our songs, yeah.
It's sounding really good, and they're going to play a new song off of their upcoming full length, The One I Want. All right, take it away.
You know you're the one. All I want to see when my day is done. So hard to find the time to get you alone. But I won't find enough to call my own. You're the one I want. You're the one I want. You're the one I want. You're the one. No, I need you back. I know you're the one. Got to understand, second to none. Say you don't have to come whenever I call. But if I can't get your love, it won't nothing at all. You're the one I want. You're the one I want. You're the one I want. You're the one. You're the one I want. Hey, you're the one I want. Woo. You're the one I want. Hey, you're the one I want. Hey, you're the one I want. Oh, you're the one I want. Woo. You're the one I want. Hey, you're the one. Oh, 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 oh.
Yeah, the Schizophonics coming to a Starbucks near you, folks. The One I Want coming to you October of this year. That's really great, man. You write those catchy choruses. That's good stuff. Well, cool. One more from the Schizophonics. Yeah.
Another off that new record called "Not Gonna Change My Mind."
Yeah. Let's do it.
Brainwashed and hypnotized, standing the screen of the evil eye. It's only out station, 100 hours a day to help the nation. No time to count the lies. Put you in your place, with the time. Oh, never gonna change my mind. Hey, you're never gonna change your mind. Oh, not gonna change my mind. Don't need to try. Don't try. Don't try. Don't try. Woo! Who do you need to tell? Trying to convince me just self. Never gonna be something that changed me. My mind is made up and my blood is raging. Take it to someone else. You won't even look me in the eye. Wow, well you're never gonna change my mind. And you're never gonna change your mind. Not gonna change my mind. Don't need to try. Don't try. Woo! day, preach to the choirs. Then they come around, same old verses that only ever work about me seconds. Won't Lord, find another buyer. I can't keep a straight face with those lines. Hey, you're never gonna change my mind. Hey, you're never gonna change your mind. Not gonna change my mind. No, you're never gonna change my mind. Hey, and you're never gonna change your mind. Hey, you're not gonna change my mind. Don't need to try. Don't try. Don't try. Don't try.
Yes. Awesome, guys.
Thank you.
Pat and Lety Beers of the Schizophonics. Thank you guys so much for being here. Netherlands next week, July 13th, tour kickoff.
Yep.
New music coming October. Anything else you guys want to add? You want to say anything to all your great fans out there?
Yeah, we're doing a summer fun band this summer.
That's right, a summer fun band.
What's up with that? Summer Fun Band. What's
Summer Fun 2019.
It's
Yeah.
called Bobby and the Pins, and we got together with some of our favorite local musicians, like
Awesome.
Dave from the Creepy Creeps. And
Yeah.
I now hear Dylan from the Creepy Creeps will be playing keyboards as well.
nice?
Yeah, he got wind of it. Now he wants to be in it. He's like, that sounds like fun. I want to be in the band.
Love it.
Paul from Mittens playing guitar. Letty's playing bass.
No way.
Dave from the Creeps is on drums. And then Elvez, Mr. Robert Lopez on vocals.
Oh my God, I love
It's
it.
just going to be stupid fun.
Just stupid
Yeah,
fun here in
just
San
no-
Diego?
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah.
Just dumb fun.
That's
Oh
what
my
summer is all
God.
about,
Yeah.
is dumb fun.
And you have all those dates booked?
No, we're just doing like a couple shows here and there.
couple shows.
Yeah, just stay tuned.
Okay,
Look on
stay
our-
tuned. Yeah. Follow the Schizophonics if you don't already on Instagram and Facebook. Stream them everywhere. Buy their music. You guys rock.
Oh, thank
you really
you.
do.
Yeah,
I wish you the very best. It's nice to sit down and chat with you guys and get to
you.
know you better.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, and thank you for being here for the 50th episode. I want to get a picture with wearing the glasses, the 50
Okay.
glasses, if you guys don't mind. But cool, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Palapalooza with the Schizophonics. We're out.
One, two, three, four. Palapalooza, Palapalooza. We're talking to you. I'm Palapalooza.